Hi, it's Allison. Today we're going to spend some time reviewing the structure and function of carbohydrates and proteins. These large carbon-based molecules are found in all living things, from simple bacteria to complex plants and animals, and everything in between. These molecules are essential for life, and without them, cells would be unable to function. Let's begin by discussing carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the main energy source used by cells. For example, glucose is used to fuel the basic process of cellular respiration. Without glucose, our cells would not have the energy they need to function and keep us alive. Glucose is a monosaccharide, meaning it has a simple, single-ring structure. The formula for monosaccharides is C6H12O6, meaning that each monosaccharide molecule contains 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. Producers are able to make glucose during the process of photosynthesis. Consumers, on the other hand, obtain glucose by eating other organisms. More complex carbohydrates, called polysaccharides, are made of many monosaccharides connected together. Polysaccharides can be used for energy storage or structural support. For example, when plants have excess glucose, they typically store this as starch in their roots. In animals, excess glucose can be stored as glycogen in liver and muscle cells. Plants also string together glucose molecules to make cellulose. Cellulose makes the cell wall of plants rigid and strong. The strength of cellulose supports various plant tissues, including stems, leaves, and roots. Since cellulose is so tough, it's very difficult for most animals to digest. Now, let's switch gears and take a look at proteins. Proteins are a diverse group of molecules that are made by all living organisms. Proteins are needed for cells to function. For example, proteins help your body move, digest food, transport oxygen, and fight off infections. Proteins also provide structure to your body. For example, your hair and nails are both made of a protein called keratin. Proteins are large, complex polymers. They are made when cells connect amino acids together. There are 20 different types of amino acids. The number, types, and order of amino acids ultimately determines the shape, structure, and function of a protein. The 20 different amino acids have similarities and differences. They all contain a central carbon, an amino group, and a carboxyl group. The R group, or variant group, is what differs between each amino acid. For example, let's look at 2 different amino acids, glycine and alanine. Both amino acids have a central carbon, an amino group, and a carboxyl group, but they contain a different variant group. As you can see, the amino acid glycine has a hydrogen atom as the variant group, and alanine has 1 carbon and 3 hydrogen atoms. Since proteins are a necessary molecule for life, all organisms need to be able to obtain all the different amino acids needed for protein production. So how do organisms get all of these different amino acids? For humans, most amino acids are obtained from our diet. Foods like meat, dairy, eggs, and some plant-based sources, like beans, contain protein. Dietary proteins are broken down into amino acids during digestion. These amino acids are then absorbed into the bloodstream and used for protein production. Consumers can get most amino acids from our diet. So how do producers, such as plants, get amino acids? Plants and microorganisms, like bacteria, can make amino acids and then assemble those amino acids into the proteins needed for their cells to function. To better understand this process, let's compare the structure of glucose, a carbohydrate, to the amino acid alanine. As you can see, both carbohydrates and amino acids contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen found in sugar molecules can serve as the building blocks for other molecules, such as amino acids. As you look at the glucose and amino acid structure, you will notice a major difference. The amino acid contains nitrogen, and glucose does not. So where did the nitrogen come from? Animals, including humans, get nitrogen by eating plants or by eating other animals that eat plants. So how do plants get the nitrogen they need to create amino acids and proteins? You may be surprised to learn that 78% of the gas in our atmosphere is nitrogen gas. With all of this nitrogen in the atmosphere, you think it would be easy for plants to get the nitrogen they need for amino acid and protein production, but it's not. The formula for nitrogen gas is N2. This means that a molecule of nitrogen gas contains two nitrogen atoms bonded together. Because of their structure, nitrogen atoms are held together by an extremely strong bond called a triple bond. This triple bond is so strong that plants are unable to break down nitrogen gas. Since plants cannot break down nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, the nitrogen must be fixed and incorporated into molecules that can be broken down by plants and animals. Examples of fixed nitrogen include ammonia, nitrate, and nitrite. The formulas below show the common nitrogen-containing molecules found in nature. As we saw before, nitrogen gas contains two nitrogen atoms. Ammonia contains one nitrogen atom and three hydrogen atoms. Nitrite contains one nitrogen atom and two oxygen atoms. And finally, nitrate contains one nitrogen atom and three oxygen atoms. Since plants cannot break down nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, they need a little help from nitrogen-fixing bacteria. These bacteria are found in many places, including lakes, rivers, oceans, and soil. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria are able to convert nitrogen gas into a molecule called ammonia, which has the formula NH3. Once the nitrogen has been fixed, plants can take up ammonia through their roots and use the nitrogen to make amino acids. Although plants can absorb ammonia through their roots, there are also bacteria in the soil that use ammonia as an energy source. These bacteria quickly add oxygen to ammonia to make a molecule called nitrite. Plants can get ammonia from the soil, but only in very small amounts, since they are also competing with bacteria in the soil. Nature is very efficient and nothing is wasted. There are also some other species of bacteria that use nitrite as a food source. These species of bacteria quickly convert the nitrite in the soil into nitrate. Plants get most of their energy by absorbing nitrates from the soil. Nitrogen from the nitrates can be combined with hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen from sugars to create all the different amino acids needed for protein production. The law of conservation of matter states that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change forms or be rearranged. As you can see, atoms are continuously cycling between different molecules and organisms. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and other atoms are constantly being rearranged into different molecules that are necessary for life. The cycling of these main elements keeps life sustained and ecosystems functioning.